I'm going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, 7 p.m. here at the Star City Council chambers. Can you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll have Miss Sharon Ramirez from the Calvary Chapel Stars going to give us our invocation tonight. And I think
you scared me for a second. I just saw this arm.
Oh.
Father, we come to you now in the precious name of Jesus. And I pray, Father, that you would remind all of us of your greatness and your goodness. And I pray for these men and women that you would anoint them with understanding and discernment and to do what's right in your eyes, Lord. I pray that you would lead them in the decision-making that is before them right now. I pray that they would surrender all to you, Lord. And I thank you that you gave us this beautiful state and country to live in. And I pray for the National Day of Prayer, that we would all come together to pray in the name of Jesus for our country, for our state, for our county, and for our city. And so, Lord, what a privilege it is to live in this place. In your precious name, we ask these things. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Appreciate that. All right, roll call.
Day.
Here.
Wheelock.
Here.
Salmonson. Here. Nielsen.
Right, everybody's here and accounted for. On our information item right now, just let everybody know, the City of Star Road Report that we put out every month, the state of Idaho did everybody a disservice in this last legislative session and canceled a lot of funding for highway transportation projects. And we're working through some of those challenges right now with them to try to figure out what exactly they're going to fund and what they're not. Basically, they wiped out $60 million that would have gave them $1 billion of funding on there. So hopefully next month we'll have some more information. I met with ITD District 3 engineer and our board member for District 3 2 weeks ago about that. And they know that we have serious concerns about Highway 44 to get done. Right. So we're working hard on that and we'll get that information out later. So just so Mr. Jerry knows that's why it's not there. He's the one that helped me get that started to put that information out. And all of a sudden I pull it from him on there. So, all right, presentation. I'm going to do a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. You all please join me with this. National Day of Prayer. Whereas throughout the history of America, prayers have been lifted up, seeking the Lord in every generation for direction, protection, provision, so that God would be glorified and bless America, resulting in America being filled with his glory, grace, and goodness as he has answered our prayers for over 250 years. And whereas from the first pilgrims' prayerful covenant with God in the Mayflower Compact to the Declaration of Independence and in every state constitution, God is glorified, given reverence and thanks, compelling the prayers of our Continental Congress that formed our nation to continue to flow fervently across America in this generation and in rededication. Personally and corporately to the Creator, acknowledged in our declaration and placing our firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. And whereas the National Day of Prayer is a public law established in the United States Congress in 1952, approved by joint resolution signed by President Truman and amended by Congress and President Reagan, with Public Law 100-307 in 1988, affirming that it is essential for us as a nation to pray and directs the President of the United States to set aside and proclaim the first Thursday of May annually as the National Day of Prayer. And whereas in our city and across America, the observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 7th, 2026, with the theme, Glorifying God Among the Nations, Seeking Him in All Generations, based on the verse in 1 Chronicles 16:24. Tell of his glory among the nation, his wonderful deeds among all the peoples. And therefore I, Trevor A. Chadwick, Mayor of the City of Star, Idaho, do hereby proclaim May 7, 2026 as a day of prayer throughout our city, and I commend this observation to our citizens and request that prayer would be lifted up throughout our city in every generation seeking the Lord as we rededicate our lives, city, and nation to the glory of God. Adopted by the City of Star on this 5th day of May, 2026. Very good. Thank you. Oh, I need to sign that one. There's many different things going on the National Day of Prayer throughout our valley. So I encourage you to join in one if you choose. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I move to approve the consent agenda consisting of just the approval of claims.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Samuelson and a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to item 7, the public hearings with action items. We do have a bunch of municipal code amendments that we are tabling till July 21st, 2026, as well as a comprehensive plan amendments and text amendments that will be tabled to July 21st, 2026. However, there are 3, Sean, codes? 3 codes that we are going to take up tonight. And I'll have Sean present those codes, and we'll have people have public testimony on them if they choose. And then the council will make a decision on that. Okay, so it is, what time is it here? It's 7:06, and we're going to open the public hearing for those 3 municipal code amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. As the mayor stated, we are tabling the majority of the municipal code amendments and the comprehensive plan amendments that we originally had scheduled for this evening. This is an effort to allow additional time for review by agencies and others that need additional time. I did want to bring 3 in front of you this evening because these are 3 that I've been working with folks in the community for many months, and I would just hate to postpone these again because these folks are waiting for this action in order to move forward with things in their lives. So very quickly, I have 3 amendments that are part of the Unified Development Code. The first amendment is to Title 8, 1A11. This is a new section. It is a request for special exception from annexation inside an area of city impact. So as you recall, last year we worked with Ada County and Canyon County to amend the area of impact agreements with those counties. In Ada County, we specifically included within their code a section that requires any property that is contiguous to the city limits to come before the city to request annexation if they are doing any type of land use application, including conditional use permits, rezones or preliminary plats. So that was written into the Ada County Code last year. Circumstance came before us recently where a piece of property was contiguous to the city limits. It was a large piece of property, 10 acres in size, and all they wanted to do was split the property in half, and they wanted to do that through the county. Well, based on that code requirement, they'd have to come before you, go through a annexation application, go through the full public hearing process just to get a yes or no before they can proceed with the county on that one-time division. So we're putting this special exception allowance in the code to allow on a case-by-case basis someone to come before you as an action item to request, I guess it would be a waiver of that requirement to annex. So this is something that we would do on a case-by-case basis. Staff will present a memo to you with the information, and then you can make a decision as an action item if you would want to waive that annexation request or require them to come before you with a formal annexation application.
Okay, any
Any
questions?
questions? Yep, for that
Any
one.
questions for Sean on that?
Yeah, Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
Would there be other circumstances that they might want to come and ask for an exemption that the council or that the city would consider, or is that kind of the primary exemption? that-
Probably the primary, because in most cases, we would want them to join the city. But in the case of a large person like this, they still want to maintain their rural lifestyle. They have well and septic. They just want to split their property in half, which they're allowed to do under
Yeah.
both our code and the county code. But through that requirement, they would have to annex into the city or be denied annexation in order to move forward with the county.
So I guess the thought I have on that is, why wouldn't we write the language to specifically just allow them to do that without annexation, rather than open it up for potential other applications that may be of all sorts of varieties and may also conflict with agreements we have, like with Star Sewer and Water and things like that. Like if a lot got an exemption, but then wanted to connect to Star Sewer and Water, do we now have a problem with the contract we have with Star Sewer and Water that requires mutual annexation?
We have the ability to deny that application or that request. So we have the
But-
agreement with Star Sewer and Water that if they have to come to us for annexation, well, you could waive that requirement as well.
Right. So once you've waived it, though, you've waived it, and then forever, they've got that exemption.
Just for their current use, though.
Right,
for
for
the
the,
use
for
that
the
it's-
current use. So in the case of this 10-acre parcel that would become 2 5-acre parcels, if they wanted to do anything further, or re-subdivide or anything like that, they would still have to come back and ask for annexation at that time.
Understood. But in this case, let's develop that out. So they do a 2-lot split, and we give them the exemption. They don't ever split those lots again, but they decide to build on them and connect to Star Sewer and Water. They've got that exemption, and they never have to annex in.
I think you put that in the findings and fact or whatever on that at a time that you hook up the Star Sewer and Water, they got to follow our
Yeah, we
agreement.
we could send a
It's
special,
there.
we could spend with this exception, could send recommended conditions of approval that Ada County could adopt within their findings.
Right. So that gets me back to the question of, why wouldn't we just carve this out as like a very specific exemption rather than open it up? Because I think my point in bringing up Star Sewer and Water is just to illustrate that there are other things that can come into play at any time that we may not be able to contemplate right now. And that may be opening a bit of a can of worms for us. It might be easier just to say, this is the specific exemption that we have. So if
Just
you,
for that one use, rather than, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah, we could
you
do
want to do a
that.
lot split, you don't have to come to ask us for annexation, just do the lot split with the county.
So what you're
Yeah,
saying is don't have them come through a process with us.
Yeah,
Just let them do the split, the 1-lot split. I mean, would you want to do that on I'm trying to think this through like you're doing here, right? If you have an enclave that's in the center of town, that's a 10-acre thing, and you want to split it into 2 5-acre parcels, that's something I think you look at differently. That's something that's on the fringes. or
yeah,
touching.
I agree. Like, I think you,
But if you guys look at it and you make that decision, then you could decide at that time
Yeah.
what is best for the city at that time.
I mean, staff, we
Owner.
just can't come up with every scenario that can happen, but
Yeah, it's
there
gonna be
are scenarios that are
impossible.
going to happen. So I think this is the cleanest way.
Saying, but-
This is the
Well-
cleanest way to allow this, short of going back to the county and modifying their ordinance.
yeah,
Currently, as it stands, though, just you got to understand that we all realize is they're required to come in with an annexation and spend all the funds on that for us to deny it.
I agree. But
So you got to have something in place that allows.
I do want to say that this thing that you're talking about, like, there's only 2 ways you can be adjacent to the city limits. There aren't other ways. You got the enclave and you got the one that's on the edge. So you've identified all of those possibilities right now.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
Whereas the way that it's written now, there are literally unlimited unidentified possibilities for people adjacent to the city to come in requesting an exemption.
From annexing into the city.
Yeah.
They could.
But it provides the opportunity for you as a council at this time to look at each one of those on an individual basis
Yeah.
and see what it should be, what should happen with it.
Yeah.
I don't think you just give them a carte blanche that they don't have to come back to the council, because there could be something, in my opinion, that you want to look at on that to make certain that we're not going to hurt ourselves in the future or future.
And there will be cases where they will not be able to hook up to sewer and water, but we could make a recommendation that
Yeah.
upon annexation of the sewer district, they would have to come back and ask for annexation to this. There's all kinds of things we can do to set this up, but this just provides that flexibility that we didn't require prior to the county adopting that section of the impact agreement.
Makes me nervous. I'm just thinking,
What are you nervous about?
well, not being able to think of all the different possibilities. Think of American Star. Like all the different possibilities. We thought that was bulletproof, nailed down, and that's turned out to be an absolute disaster.
Well, the problem with that is we did not have code in place to protect us from that. I feel like we have, I feel like we
Well,
have.
there were a number
in
of
place.
failures there, but
Yeah.
I guess maybe I'm speaking for myself. I don't trust that I'm going to be able to think of all the things that in that scenario that might need to be thought of.
But wouldn't they come in front of us so that any new scenario,
Yeah,
I mean, we're
every
gonna have to
scenario is
see
going to
it.
come before you.
that decision?
Right. And we don't know based on, I'm just thinking of the different possibilities. We've got to think of all the things that could happen or could not happen at the time of making that decision.
Well, staff will provide you with that information.
I think that's just like on any development.
For example, we're going to provide you with as much information as we can, including like a recommendation from the sewer and water district. In this case, the sewer water is not available. So, I've already vetted out some of that issues, but I just can't get past that for this particular scenario. I can't get past this. Them paying the money, doing neighborhood meetings, coming back for a full public hearing just to ask you not to annex. It just seems
Yeah,
backwards.
like I don't think that's reasonable either. I feel like this is too open.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Sean on this one? Okay, move on to the next one.
The second one is Title 8 4A11, and it is regarding fencing. It is a fencing height waiver, and we've been working with several different subdivisions on this one, trying to provide for some exception to the height. Typically, we have a 6-foot height limit on our fencing, and so we're introducing this code to allow for a waiver of up to 8 feet in specific scenarios. And so if you could read here, the fencing shall remain at a maximum of 6 feet in height unless approved through a fencing waiver permit. Height is hereby measured from bottom to the top panel. Post height shall not exceed 8 inches above the panel. And then if you come down to the height waiver, fence waiver permit may be issued to allow a fence up to 8 feet in height subject to the following. Zoning certificate compliance for the waiver has been submitted and approved by the administrator. Subject fence is not located out adjacent to a common area space, a corner lot, or adjacent to a public right-of-way as indicated in Figure 3. Subject fence is located on property lines that have received written permission from all property owners affected by the fence location. Subject fence must remain consistent with all property lines. If fencing is on the rear yard property line on a corner lot, the fence shall transition down to 6 feet and remain at that height next to the right-of-way. At no point shall the fence be any closer than 5 feet from the sidewalk. Then the Figure 3 gives you the examples of where they would not be allowed. So for example, on corner lots, we would not allow fences to go above the 6 feet or along common area lots.
Okay, is that?
Yep.
Okay, any questions on this one? For Sean? At this time? Councilwoman?
Yeah, sure. So I'm guessing that you've received a request for this change. Is there, like, where, I guess my hesitation is like, I would, to see it like on arterial roads, like back fences, like a big giant 8-foot fence. And maybe that is appropriate there. But do you see anywhere where, kind of back to Kevin's point, where like, if it's too general, we're gonna, as long as they meet these things, now we're gonna have a bunch of 8-foot fences in neighborhoods? Everybody agrees to that? Yeah.
Basically, the way it's written is where we're trying not to be able to see it from the public. And so like an arterial, typically there's a common lot that separates the right of way from the back of the lot. And so that in that case, they would not be able to do that.
Okay,
It's internal.
It's
Subdivision.
if you look at this figure right here, we're showing it. It's mostly internal. It's mostly
Okay.
for backyards that back up to backyards.
This is for
What the
the
intent is.
Oh.
lots that are 10 feet from the back line.
Yeah.
And sitting in their hot tub, shaking hands with a neighbor.
yep, okay.
It's gonna provide for some privacy for those folks.
Let them have a little privacy in their own
Yep.
backyard.
Yep,
It's
okay,
fabulous.
got it, thank you.
Any further questions of Sean at this time on this one? Okay, hearing none. Sean, you go on to the next.
The last one is Title 8, 4C6, and it's to update our temporary use standards and to include community within the definition of arts, entertainment, and recreation events. And what this does is it allows for farmers markets to be allowed within the commercial districts as a temporary use on a temporary basis. So the way it's written up is seasonal reoccurring events, including but not limited to farmers markets and concert series may be allowed in commercial districts, subject to approval by the city. Food trucks and other temporary food operations, live music, and other amenities may be permitted for these events. This use shall not exceed 6 months and shall only be allowed for one season. Multiple seasons at the same location shall be subject to a conditional use permit. Administrator shall apply additional standards in this article to ensure that the health, safety, and welfare of the community is maintained. And then we've added the fire district to the review process for those temporary uses.
Okay,
So what we do is we get a lot of interest in farmers markets in the downtown area. And the way it's written up right now is they would all have to come before city council for a conditional use permit. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stimulate that a little bit, allow for this, until they find a location that really works and a property owner that's willing to work with them. We just haven't seen a whole lot of these markets spring up. And so this is just to kind of allow for that on a temporary basis. We've got a couple examples here that of properties that would like to entertain this.
all right. Any questions for Sean on this one? Okay.
So
Okay, all right. All right, so we'll move on to the public testimony portion of this. We have 3 people that signed up with question marks. Did you want to speak? I don't know if you, did you want to hear from them about their experience on the fence?
Yes.
Do you? Okay. So we got Ed, who's first. You'll need to come up to the podium here. State, you're good? Okay, Joe? Okay.
As you,
So real quick, state your name and address for the record, and then you got 3 minutes on that, which
hopefully won't
we
exhaust
have
all
a ton of
that.
people speaking, so I think you're,
Okay, perfect. 10641 West Lothbury Drive, just down the street. And as he alluded to in terms of the fence, it's really just a back fence. The grading issues with the developer were a little anonymous, and there's some fence lines that are basically waist level to a chest, and I could literally see everybody in their kitchen. We're waving at each other. So a lot of it is just a privacy factor, as you alluded to. It's only 24 inches. It's not something that is going to be egregious and insightful to anybody. And everything's covered on the periphery in terms of not having that really encumber anybody. So it's pretty straightforward.
Mayor
Any
Shadwick.
questions for Mr. Joe?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Nielsen?
So in this scenario that you're describing, is the fence measured? I assume it's a 6-foot fence from some point.
It's at some point, yeah. So it'd be probably 7 feet in somebody's backyard and maybe 4 feet in mine, for instance. But they always measure from the deepest. And I'm sure Ed could allude to any more detail on that piece, but.
Well, so I guess what I'm trying to envision is, like, you could put up a 6-foot fence, and that might, if they already had a 6-foot fence, then that might create the 8-foot block from where they're at, right? Rather, no, he needs to stay here.
Hang on, he's got to finish his testimony, then we'll come back to you to come up and testify separate.
It's yes, my understanding is that there's a variation in height from the grading. So if mine's, 5 feet and his is 6, we're trying to achieve an 8-foot net. So however we achieve that, it's going to be 8 feet from let's say the deepest portion. Then the person next to me already has that 6-foot fence. So he gets to 2 feet and I get 2 feet, but the net is 8 feet.
Yeah, so, but then if you were to put up a 6-foot fence, like, the total from where his fence started and your fence ended might actually be 10 feet.
No.
We'll let him explain his here in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more personal testimony. Ed here has been doing all the due diligent works.
You've been-
Able to get into the,
He's doing all the legwork.
yeah.
You're the muscle, he's the legs.
But to be clear here, we're talking about possible just of 8 foot on one fence. We're not trying to talk about an overall height difference.
An 8-foot fence instead of a 6-foot fence. Whatever happens between the adjoining properties, it could adjust one higher depending on if you have a stair step
Right.
or not, right?
Mhm.
And so that's all going to be, I mean, this is saying that every landowner has to sign an agreement to do it.
Yep.
So they just can't do it without people all agreeing on that, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yep. Okay, Ed, do you want to come and speak to that?
Yeah, my name's Ed Zeiler. I live at 10660 West Lothbury. And we've lived there for about 2.5 years, but what brought this all to Sean's attention months ago is what happened is the developers came in Heron River and they were responsible for, prior to any builders come in, putting in a parallel fence to the street. So in other words, everybody's back property line. And what they did, because all the drainage and all the canal water runs down that line, so all the properties came down to that 6-foot line and they built the fence up 6 feet. And then individual builders came in and stepped up for the drainage to the street. So for instance, the person behind me is about 18 inches above my lot. So when he's standing in his house and he's looking over, he's only got a 52-inch high fence. And when I stand and I look into his house, his wife can open the refrigerator and I can see everything that's in the refrigerator. So what we're doing is there will be no more, the builder or the fence person is going to put 24 inches on, and in no place will the fence be any higher than 8 foot at any one point. And it's measured from the bottom of the ground to the top of the panel on the fence. The 8 inches for the post is just because all panels or fences have a little post on it. But what it's trying to do is just create privacy for people. And the example that Kevin gave was exactly what Joe deals with. He's in his hot tub and the neighbor's right behind him. There's homes that they're only 32 feet apart. So back fence line, you're only 12 feet away, 13 feet away. So Sean and Barbara have helped a lot over the last few months, and we're not the only development that's had that. My understanding, there's another development that when the builders came in, they actually stepped it off to where it was only a 32-inch height, 6-foot fence to the person behind them, but to him, the fence is only 32 inches high. So we're just trying to make everything even and private. We're not trying to go over and I went to the HOA last year and got approval from the HOA to do the extension of the fence before I even came to council. So I don't know if other developments are going to do that if they want to, but that's basically where it all came from.
Okay. Any further questions, Councilman?
No, I think that's helpful. I guess the source of my questioning on this is really is 8 feet enough? Because if you need a 6-foot fence on the back of your lot, but that makes it 8.5 feet from where it's,
Well, the goal is that everybody back-to-back homes will have a minimum 6-foot privacy fence. Now, it might include the person behind that was stepped up to only, it might go up as high as, but I've already measured, none of them go any higher than 8 feet tall.
yeah.
But they have to approve, as the mayor said, they have to sign it for the permit that they approve to have that fence put on.
Got it. Okay. thank you.
Councilman Wheelock? Sorry.
No,
Wheelock.
thanks.
Okay, Councilman Wheelock?
A lot of the ones that I'm hearing about are a 2-foot lattice that just gives them a little bit of privacy that is not always in neighboring cities. They're not letting them do even that. And you're ending up planting new bushes and trying to create an arborvitae or whatever you have to do on both sides just to have your own privacy in your own backyard. And this seems like the best way to have it if we can have everybody get along and agree on it. 6 foot plus the 2 foot of lattice on top or whatever. I don't know if lattice is an option or if it's privacy, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, did you state your name and address for the record? Okay, all right. I couldn't remember. I didn't check that off on the box. All right, Ms. Sue, did you want to say anything? Sure. Okay.
My name is Sue Voss. I live at 10641 West Lothbury Drive. I love living in Idaho, and I love how you said the power of prayer. Pretty much when I work hard Monday through Friday, I'm exhausted. And on Saturday morning, I pray that I don't have to see my neighbor's black BVDs when I go get my coffee in the morning. So this fence extension that we're talking about isn't very much, but it's just enough that when my daughters visit from LA and they go in the jacuzzi, sorry, sometimes they might be scantily clad because they're so used to where we used to live. It was all covered in trees that I freak out that somebody might just see something that they shouldn't, including myself. If I try to get coffee in the morning and my husband comes out and is skinny. So it's just not, we just need to have like an appropriate fence and that's it. So I appreciate that and the power of prayer.
I would just say my neighbors would probably love this. They don't want to see me in my hot tub.
Yeah,
either.
they're going to need therapy, everybody that sees us.
The
So,
honest truth.
yeah, so thank you.
All right, I know you guys came in late. Did you want to speak on this topic? The last topic? Oh, well, you could come up and speak on that now. This is on the food truck stuff? Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, not on these code amendment things. Okay, gotcha. Perfect, thank you. All right. You didn't sign up on any paper. You come up, Lori, I'm kidding. Just come up and state your name and address there, Miss Lori.
Lori Balad, 8582. Find it? Sorry.
8582.
8582 West Stillmore Street in Star. So it's interesting that I came tonight of all nights. You've already heard my story. And another thing that's interesting is I just met with the president of the Toll Brothers Division today regarding this and some other things. And this discussion still came out where I came and showed him a year later that the trees still have not grown. Yes, they can see right in, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk to them. You can see right into our bedroom, as you know. And I mean, it's nice, but there is no privacy at all. And I'd like to know, is there a minimum? Is there a minimum requirement right now?
6, well, no, that's 5, I think, right? Sean, what's the minimum
See.
requirement? Yeah, for a fence.
See, that's what when I went onto the records before the last time, I thought it was a 5-foot minimum, which it's 5 foot on my side, which I'm taller than 5 feet. So that was part of the problem is it's 5 feet on my side and then they built up 3 feet above us. And so they're looking straight down into us. So I would like for the city council to put a minimum and make it official
That's
of
not on
6.
tonight's saying that have
Oh.
to come later.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just food for thought.
Yep.
A 6-foot minimum.
Sean can look at that.
Yeah, a 6-foot minimum on the houses and on the 8 feet. Yeah, I understand being able to, but are you making some type of prerequisite for HOAs? Because I've already tried to go through my HOA to add, and they don't want, because of the looks.
The unfortunate part is we can't, you sign a contract with your HOA and we cannot overrule their contract. The
There's
legislature's
nothing.
been very clear on that.
Okay,
Yeah, the
so,
beautiful part is they apparently are okay with it over there on their subdivision, so.
yeah, my subdivision is saying no. So, okay, so I wanted to see if there was anything that could do that. Okay, I guess that's it.
But you're in favor of it, though.
Oh, the higher fence? Oh, no, no, I love people looking in my backyard. It's so much fun.
Never
Oh
said
my
you were in
gosh.
favor. I just
You
want to
know,
make
I
sure.
sit there and I go like this, you know?
Councilman
Yeah,
Nielsen?
no.
Yeah, quick question. So just make sure I understand your request. Are you requesting that the city consider requiring developers to put fences in?
No, that's up to them, and I'm not saying that they have to put a fence in, but if they're putting fences in, at least 6-foot minimum, because most people are over 5 foot, you know, and if there's any type of slant, because, and I understand completely, coming as a city council, you're looking at a flat paper, and the developers aren't necessarily telling you, oh, this house is going to be slanted above. And there needs to be some type of protection for the homeowners when they come in there, that, you know, when they're told, oh, yes, you're going to have privacy, that
Right.
there's something that we can do.
Understood. I just wanted to
Yeah,
clarify what you were asking this
no,
council
I'm-
to consider. Okay,
I'm fine with the 8-foot. I would love to have an 8-foot fence right now.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody else want to speak on these 3 code amendments? Anybody want to speak on these? If not, Ken, did you want to at all? No? Okay. We will close the public hearing then. It's 7:37. Go to council deliberations and you can talk to Sean, the staff about it. If you have questions. And we'll start with each one. Now, when we do votes, we're going to vote on each code separately. It's not an all or done. So we'll start with the annexation one, 81A-11.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
I'd like for us to consider maybe adding some language in that narrows the focus. If we left it as it is, but then add in that special exemption will be considered from a narrow reason such as, or related to, a lot split. So that we just don't have it open to, hey, I wonder if I can get an exception for this.
Do you have some ideas? Exemptions? Did you say it's personal exemption, you talked about narrowing it down.
Talking about narrowing the scope. Right now, it's totally open. Anybody who wants an exception for any reason, they can come and have a hearing about it.
So what would you
So-
narrow it down to, I guess?
To the specific reason that we're trying to do this today.
So request for special exception
Or-
is including or narrowed down to a lot split specific.
Right.
You can add that in there probably pretty easy, can't you, Sean? Regarding lot, so you're saying just, this is only applies to lot splits.
Yep.
Lean
That's
it,
what you want to say.
lean it into just lot splits and then it's done.
Okay?
And then we would still have a hearing. We would still go through this process, have a hearing and decide.
Yep.
And so if there was any other reason, it's just not allowed.
Right.
Yeah,
They go
Okay.
through the standard process.
yeah. And if it becomes
got that,
something, then
Sean?
we could address it in the
Yep.
future.
Exactly.
Okay. Did you have something, Councilman Day? No? No? Okay. Councilman, do you have something?
Agree.
Just agreeing, okay.
Yeah, I was just saying, if somebody were to come, we could amend it per that specific
At that time.
at that time.
Yep.
For whatever that project is.
Okay.
All right.
Any further on this one?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Wheelock.
I make a motion that we approve 8-1 A-11, request for special exemptions from annexation inside an area of impact with the changes that we've just noted.
And those changes are specific to lot split request only.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilman Wheelock and a second by Councilman Nielsen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries 4-0. Thank you. We'll move on to code 84A-11 regarding fences. Any discussion or motions on this one? Councilman Nielsen?
I was just checking down there. It looked like Dave was going to go for it.
It all sounded good to me. Taller fences, the better. Privacy, right? It's all about
You're-
privacy.
You're wearing a cowboy hat. Cowboys hate fences.
It's all about private. That's right.
Hey, keep your cows in.
Open fences.
Right, Dale? Yes. You're on board. Okay. You got a motion at all?
Mayor Chadwick, I'll move that we approve this change to our code. I don't see the number.
84A-11.
84A-11.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Nielsen and a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day, Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon, Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. 4-0. Okay, we'll move on to 84C-6 and 84C-7 for a temporary use permit for farmers markets and whatnot.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I'll move to approve 8-4C-6 and 8-4C-7 as presented here tonight.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Solomon and a second by Councilman Day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to,
Mayor Chadwick, do we need to make something about tabling the rest of
yes,
it?
we do. Actually, yeah, we do need to make a motion to table the remainder of our codes and we'll do the codes first and then the comprehensive plan and text amendment next.
All right.
So two different ones.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I'll move to table the municipal code amendment till July 21st, 2026.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Solomon and a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
So you and I discussed bringing at least one of these forward for the first meeting in June rather than July. So if we table these all till July, does that prohibit us from bringing those forward in June like we discussed?
Yep. Which one? I
So
remember.
yeah, it was the rental registration, and then I'd also like to suggest that we bring forward the sign resolution as well.
Okay, well, we could discuss that as a council if you want to hear those two in June or wait till July.
Remind me about the rental one. Is that the single family? Yeah, remind me.
That's the
Was it
that one addresses the corporate ownership of rentals and the proliferation of corporate ownership across the city, as well as these subdivisions that are, intended to be just solid homes for rent. And it allows the city to have a little bit more control of that and addresses, starts to help address at least some of the housing availability and the fact that our citizens can't get a home because they're being outbid by cash offers by corporations.
Thank you. Now I remember single family rental communities.
Single-family
Is that what you called it?
Yeah. And then the sign ordinance is really to address, primarily what I see around town is the proliferation of these little signs that direct you to new neighborhoods that are under construction and homes for sale. And these home builders, these companies are just putting those signs all over everybody else's property. You drive down the road and you see homes for sale for, I don't know, pick Pioneer Homes or something like that, plastered all over the HOA of a Toll Brothers subdivision or one of our existing subdivisions. And it's private property, but they just stick them in the property. They stick them on city property. I go around and collect them. I've got a whole stack of signs in my garage off of city property that is posted there inappropriately. So I think those kind of things can improve our community, and I don't want to wait on the single
Okay.
family, the subdivisions. For that.
So the earliest date we would do it in June is June 16th. Just so you're aware.
Right, and so that's just pushing those two items up a month. And Sean, do you see any issue with that? Like it having the info together? I mean, I know we already talked about it in our workshop.
Well, they were proposed in November. We had a workshop on them, and they were anticipated to be brought forth at the last meeting in April.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, Councilmember Nielsen had put that as a separate written
Separate
ordinance anyway, so I can just bring both of those back as written for us to
June
get through June 16th. Yes.
As separate ordinances?
Yeah,
then?
'cause
Not,
we'll bring them back as each as separate ordinance as written by the council member.
okay, so not part of this code amendment. So can keep the motion as made? And then can we just add those ordinances to the agenda then in June?
No, change
You
it.
need to, I think you need
Change,
to
change the motion that
specify
talks about those
those.
two specific to June 16th and the remainder till July 21st. That's what we're choosing to
Yep.
do. Okay.
Shelley, did you get that? Okay, I will amend my motion to what is stated.
Okay, so,
So table, with the exception of the single-family rental community,
registration.
yeah, developments and the sign ordinance. Bring those two on June 16th.
Okay. And then the remainder on,
On July 21st?
Yep.
Yes.
okay, we have an amended motion. Who seconded it? Wheelock, did you want to second that amendment?
I hadn't.
Who was it?
We had not had a second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
we did because then you asked for
I asked-
discussion.
Question, yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay, you'll second this, okay? We have an amended motion and amended second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, now we move on to action items. 8A is the ordinance
So
for the
sorry.
Day Spring Church. We need to suspend of the rules.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
sorry, I think we still have to table the comprehensive plan map.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Gosh darn it, I thought we did that. Yes. So go to the comprehensive plan and table that to July 21st. You guys got me all over the place now.
I know, yeah, sorry. So Mayor Chadwick, I'll move to table the comprehensive plan map and text amendment to July 21st, 2026.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Nielsen. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call?
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Yeah, that motion carries. Thank you. Right now, we're going to action items number 8. The first one is the ordinance for the Day Spring Church. We need to suspend of the rules. And then we can approve the ordinance. So somebody want to suspend the rules?
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
I move to introduce ordinance 434-2026, Day Spring Church annexation and zoning with a development agreement, and that pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-902, the rule requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days with one reading to be in full be dispensed with, and that ordinance number 434-2026 be considered after reading once by title only.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Nielsen and a second by Councilman Day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Now we move on to item 8B, the ordinance for amending Title 8 of the code for those 3 sections that we just approved. What? Okay. Hold, please.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
I have it adjusted based on the council's decision at the public hearing, if you want to still adopt it tonight. For ordinance 437-2026. Specifically, I've amended the request for special exception to recognize lot parcel splits or lot or parcel line adjustments within the areas of impact.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a point of order. Should we finish reading the ordinance and vote on the
Oh,
ordinance?
yeah, sorry.
This ordinance first.
I'm going to apologize, everybody, man. I've got kidney infections and I've been wiped out for the last 4 days. So I've been not well.
That's why we're here to help you.
You're here to help me, man. Sorry. Not my best night.
We're still doing it.
All right. So you want to read the ordinance for
Mayor,
me?
yes, sir.
All right.
Mayor Chadwick, I move that we approve ordinance number 434-2026, Dayspring Church annexation and ordinance annexing and zoning certain real property located in Star, Ada County, Idaho, more specifically located at 9701 West Beacon Light Road, Star, Idaho. The property is owned by Dayspring Church Incorporated, establishing the zoning classification of the annexed property as rural residential with a development agreement RR-DA of approximately 8.03 acres, directing that certified copies of this ordinance be filed as provided by law, providing for related matters and providing for an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Nielsen and a second by Councilwoman Salmonson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Now we'll move on to item 8B, the ordinance for the Unified Development Code. We need to do a suspension of the rules.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I move to introduce, do it right, introduce ordinance number 437-2026. And that pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-902, the rule requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days with 1 reading to be in full be dispensed with, and that ordinance number 437-2026 be considered after reading once by title only.
Okay, then we have a motion by Councilwoman Salmonson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Nielsen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Okay, that motion carries. Move on to action item 8C, the noise waiver for temporary use
Oh,
permit.
no.
I'm
So
sorry,
now we
read-
need
read
to.
the- Read the thing now.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm just
Uh,
excited to get done, I
Yes.
think.
All right, Mayor Chadwick, I'll move to approve ordinance number 437-2026, amending the Star City Municipal Code, an ordinance of the City of Star, Ada and Canyon Counties, Idaho, amending Title 8 of the Star City Municipal Code, providing for special exception to annexations, updating fence standards, and updating temporary use standards, and providing an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Salmonson and a second by Councilman Nielsen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Salmonson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Now, is it okay for me to move on to 8C?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We're moving on to 8C, the noise waiver for temporary use permit for Nampa paving. We'll have Sean introduce this and talk about it. And then we have Nampa paving here to talk about it too, correct?
Yes, if you have any questions, again, this is not a public hearing, but as the applicant, they're here for any questions you have. So, Mr. Mayor and Council, staff received a request for a temporary use permit by Nampa Paving for nighttime material import and noise ordinance. This is specifically for the Trailmark Station subdivision, which is located off of Joplin Road, north side of Joplin Road, west of Star Road, and at the Canada Road intersection. Request would include council approval of the temporary waiver to the city's noise ordinance. The request is currently the schedule for raising the elevation of the property approved as part of the Trail Mark subdivision includes approximately 6,100 trucks entering the site and placing fill material, which is then distributed over the area within the first phase of the development. Current time frame for this operation is 75 to 85 days. Each of these trucks would travel from their pit in Notice and travel east on Highway 2026 to Star Road, then north to Joplin Road and into the site. Once the west end of Joplin Road is reopened, the route will utilize Canada Road rather than Star Road. If this request is approved and they're allowed to do nighttime deliveries on a temporary basis, the trucks would work at night and distribute the material. Estimated time frame working at night would reduce the operation to approximately 30 to 45 days. Within your temporary use standards, you are allowed to approve such a request not to exceed 6 months in time. The applicant's request, again, they stated the benefits of doing this work at night. Some of the requirements that they would agree to in order to suppress noise during the evening, which includes dampering of backup alarms in the haul trucks, strict enforcement of no compression or engine braking along the haul routes and through the residential areas, driver briefings and enforcement of reduced speeds and heightened caution throughout the intersections of those residential zones, maintaining strict control of truck spacing and site entry exits to prevent stacking on the public roads, and a continued proactive communication with nearby residents along Joplin Road regarding the haul schedule and activity. Staff has included some conditions of approval to help protect the public from the nighttime operation, including the adopting the recommended conditions from the applicant. Those are included in the recommended conditions of approval. That's
Okay, do you have any questions for staff? This is not a public hearing, I forgot. This is a temporary use permit, so there is no, even the applicant can't even come up and speak to it. It's all from a temporary use permit, correct? Yep. So it's for you to talk with the staff about this and make a decision whether or not you want to allow this temporary use. What? What? But that's the deal. This is not a public hearing. It only gets spoken on a public hearing. We can't do that with a temporary use. I get it. I understand the courtesy part of it. But it's the process that we have to follow that's established in our code, right? So you guys can approve it. You could deny it. You could add additional conditions on it. What?
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, I guess to add to the discussion. So what this would do by allowing this nighttime activity and reducing the number of trucks on the public roadways specifically during the daytime hours and the commute hours. That's the justification for doing this at night rather than doing it during the day. If it is done during the day, the truck routes would actually be changed or would not be from the notice pit They would be from the Chaparral Pit off of Highway 16. And in most cases, those trucks would come through downtown Star on Highway 20, on Highway 44, and then south on Star Road. So right through the heart of downtown is where the trucks would currently come if they're using the day scheduling. So the night would allow them to utilize their notice pit, which would be down 2026, not down Star Road or State. Is that correct?
So I'm going to just do this. Before we start discussing, we're going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to try to get Chris. Chris is at the emergency room with our attorney, with his son. I'm going to try to see if, I'm going to ask him a question about testimony, okay? Before we go forward. So we're going to recess at 8 o'clock and come back at 8:10, okay? Huh? Yes. Yep. Okay, we're going to recess until 8:10. Look at that, right at the 10-minute mark. Perfect. It's 8:10, and we're going to continue this action item. And what we're going to do is we'll have Nampa Paving gentlemen come up here and talk, and we'll have the two citizens sitting here come up and talk. We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. How about that?
We're good.
Okay. All right, go ahead, sir. Say your name and address.
Yep. My name's Tyson Bird. I live at 3384 West Salix Way in Meridian. I've been running Nampa Paving for almost 20 years now. I've been here for a long time and I've seen what's going on in the city of Star. And I took a short stint in Star and traffic just got too miserable and too bad. So we moved up to Spur Wing. So what I have learned in Star and Eagle areas where everything's getting developed is, unfortunately, developers can't build from the back to the front. They have to build from the front to the back. It's just the way sewer and water works. So people move in the front. They get very upset when it gets to the back. So we've had people actually jump in front of our trucks on the truck cameras, run into them and state, oh, I got hit, I got hit, I got hit. People hate trucks. They're big, they're loud, they're scary. So for this particular job, that's what we're here to talk about. In order, I have to get 4,000 yards of material in a day, which is about 185 truckloads a day. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to run 75, 80 trucks every single day to hit that 4,000 yards. It's not going to happen. There's going to be traffic jams at Highway 16. There's going to be traffic jams at Ridley's. There's going to be traffic jams here. There's going to be traffic jams at Star. My trucks that are coming from west to east, there's going to be traffic jams at Canada. There's going to be traffic jams at Star Road. There's going to be, I see one wreck every day on Canada and Pindon, every day driving back and forth. You're going to see 5 or 6. It's just not safe. And so when we started this, I'm like, this is not safe, guys. We gotta figure something out. So that's where the email was, and I appreciate you guys responding to me. As the community grows, the more rural we get, the more that we can do these. We're all out of good ground. Everybody developed all the good ground. So now everything has to get raised 4 or 5 feet for sewer, for storm drain, for every purpose. So the further rural we get, the more work we can do at night is the safer for the community and not jamming uptown. So that's my whole reason for asking for this. It's a safety thing. Can I do it without it? Yeah, but it's just not safe. And we're all part of the community. I've lived here. I lived in Boise for 20 years. The first 20 years was in Eastern Idaho. So I've been here as long as I was there, and I've seen what's happening here. And it's becoming more about safety than anything. So.
You guys have any questions for Tyson?
Yeah, Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yeah, thank you. So along with those trucks coming in, are you running distribution equipment, compaction equipment, all that sort of thing as well? Or are you just bringing in material and waiting for daytime hours to do that normal stuff?
No, you have to be placed in the material as you come in. Structurally, it has to be tested every 8 inches. So we'll have 1 sheep's foot roller out there along with 2 dozers and a water truck constantly watering. We can muffle the backup beepers on the dozers. You can't unplug them. Otherwise, you get in big trouble with OSHA. You can muffle them a little bit.
Any idea what the how much decibel?
No, and it doesn't matter. There's, the neighbors on top are still gonna hear it. I live on the rim at Spurwing and I can hear Firebird every single night of the week when they're running cars there.
Right.
Noise travels at night. To me, this is just short-term pain for long-term gain and safety.
How many neighbors are we talking about up there?
Well, there's all those new homes that have been built up there in Star Point. I'm not sure how many are moved in. This nice couple behind me, they live up there, and we were just chatting about that.
On the break, I asked Sean to pull up a map so that we could kind of see what we're looking at here. So I would assume, Sean, the area outlined in yellow is the where we're bringing in the fill. And so then we're looking at, and that's up on the rim while these other Star Road.
Yeah, they're going to be down on the flats and everybody lives up on the rim.
Got it.
Correct, yeah. So it looks like in Star Point, and maybe, do you guys know how many people live up there? 22 on the rim. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and over there at the development closer to Canada has quite a few homes up there too, right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that new Naismith Commons, I believe is what they call that.
Yeah.
That Joplin rim. So coming in on Canada is definitely going to be helpful. Sounds like that was actually open today. We finished paving it yesterday and they opened it up today. So that's good. So that'll eliminate.
That's a straightening of that.
Yeah.
And where would you enter on this project from? Down at the bottom of the hill?
Yeah, you'd be entering in about right across from where the horse arena is right now, right where the yellow line starts, just a little bit to the left. Right there until we get that piece filled in. And then we move further over by the dancer's house and it goes back in there.
Okay.
And help me understand that the difference between operating at night versus the day. You said at night you can bring from notice, but in the day you have to bring from chaparral.
Yeah, so when you're bidding these jobs, they're all public bid. So you have to account for your trucking time. Coming from notice is about, I don't know, it's about 10 miles further than coming from Chaparral Pit. And we just can't come from Chaparral Pit because then we're going to create a traffic jam. I just can't come with notice because then we're going to create a traffic jam and we're going to have 15, 20 trucks lined up on the job at all times. So if I'm able to come from notice, I only have to allot as many trucks is that I need to get my 185 loads a night. Well, when they're making 45-minute rounds instead of an hour and 40-minute rounds, that cuts the truck time down in half. The amount of trucks on the road.
So you're saying coming from notice is shorter time frame?
At nighttime it
At
is.
nighttime
At
it is.
nighttime it is, yeah. Yeah, because you just don't have the traffic issues.
Any questions for Tyson,
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the scope correctly. So are you saying 185 trucks nightly will be going in there?
Mhm.
Okay. And if we don't allow it and are you going in it during the day also?
During the day, we will not be hauling material in. There's three ponds, I'm sorry, that will be being dug during the day. But no material will be coming into the site during the day.
Okay.
So basically, I think what you're saying is you're doing 185 truckloads a night. During the day, you can only get like 85 or something.
During the day, it's just all on site because we're just digging ponds with haul trucks and
No, I mean,
excavators.
This wasn't to be approved.
Yeah.
If this wasn't to be approved, I'm still going to get 185 loads in a day. I'm just going to add 40, 50 trucks to the mix.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Does that make sense? And instead of just coming from that direction.
Your dirt math is different than mine because I
Yeah.
can't figure that out.
Yeah.
But-
It's going
It
to take
takes
a
more
lot
time.
longer.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why it has to be has to be 185 like you're delivering so much a day? Can it, I mean, it's probably up to money, right? Like the shorter but, I mean,
I think the 185 a day makes it so it's a shorter time frame to get it done in 30 days versus the 95 or 85 days
Yep.
on that.
Yep. Yeah, I say
But-
during the
but
day,
again,
I
the-
say during the day, I'm going to put 185 loads in there. I'm not going to get 185 loads because there's going to be 40 trucks lined up on State Street and Star Road all day long. And it's going to be a very unproductive, very cluttered situation. And again, it is a low bid project. And so we have to bid productions into the project to get it done. If you bid it in for 2,000 yards a day, when the job hopefully paves this year, the job's not going to pave this year, you're not going to get the job. So it's all production based. And I'm just trying to alleviate the impact on the public and traffic by getting the hardest part of the job done during the nighttime.
Okay, and then you also said, or in the staff report says, once the west end of Joplin Road's open, then the route will utilize Canada instead of Star Road. So it sounds like that may be the case before you even start. Is that
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And so what does that mean? Like on our map here, or
So that means they're on the west, you come down Joplin, and instead of having that big swoop, it just goes straight through. That piece, that Sandy Kyle Drive, I can't really read that. That's not, none of those homes are built yet. Some homes are built in that subdivision, but they're further off the rim. And the ones on the rim are going to be the ones that mainly hear the sound.
so you'll, instead of driving east in front of all of them on Chinden, right?
Mhm.
And then going down Star, I mean, you're going west, right? And
Yep.
cutting through, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, hitting Canada, then Joplin on the straightened out
Yeah.
segment.
And how many, I mean, is that 5 miles in between there?
No, it's only a mile.
Mile, okay. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Councilman Wheelock?
Yeah, so one of the only questions I have is, the trucks coming down Canada and then down Joplin, correct?
Mhm.
They're coming down the hill into that Dancer turn. And I drive a pretty heavy vehicle that has a Jake. How do you enforce that?
Anybody that gets caught with the Jake brake, the guy behind me is going to write a ticket and they're never allowed back on the job.
He doesn't write as many tickets as he needs to sometimes.
At nighttime, he'll get enough calls. He'll be down there. I promise you that.
I'm 100% sure that doesn't get written as much as it's used.
Sure. And in this case, I hope it, I truly hope it would. And I tell anybody that complains, if there's anything going wrong, please call the cops and have them enforce it. And now, yeah. There you go. Yeah, all I'm trying to do is, like I said, I've lived here my whole life and it's not safe.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
one more question. So also, this is just for the first phase, right?
Correct, yes.
And so do you anticipate, like, I mean, is it going to be similar for the other, is there 5 phases?
In anticipation of
Yeah, in
Highway
the
16
future.
and State Street being done, we don't have this issue anymore.
Well, they're not going to be done for,
Well, but this is phase 1 that they're doing now. Phase 2 is when? When are they projecting that?
I can't speak for Toll
Yeah.
Brothers on that.
so I guess my question, like, is it about the same amount of fill that's going to have to come in for the rest of the property?
I would say not as much because this is the bigger first phase.
Okay.
But I haven't seen the grading plan, so I cannot speak for Toll Brothers on that effect. But ideally, Highway 16 is going to be open middle of 27, spring of 27.
Middle of 27.
So we finished this job in December, paved this job in December of 26. Ideally, we're not going to start anything. With weather, you're not going to start anything till April or May of 27. So
Mhm.
again, I can't speak for Toll Brothers and I can't speak for what the transportation department's going to do, but just doing the math, that's what I'm anticipating.
All right, so,
Okay, any further questions of Tyson?
And again, Mr. Mayor and Council, all staff is recommending in the conditions is this phase where we're not approving anything else. It would have to come back before you with a new request. And at that time, we will have information gathered on how successful or unsuccessful it will be. I've also put some conditions in there that you guys do have the ability to look at this at any time if it's out of control and make a decision based on that information. So I'm assuming we will get calls from residents and everything. And, you know, as long as the applicant follows the self-imposed conditions of the dampering, the stacking, the Jake brakes, things like that. And doesn't violate that. If there's violations in our police department, lets us know that.
And that's the challenging part, though.
You can look at this and revoke it at any time if it's not working.
The challenging part is there's gonna have to be signage and stuff posted that talks about no Jake braking for them to issue tickets like that up in that area, right? I mean, how does a noise ordinance work at night?
It's already no compression brakes inside city limits.
I get that. Legally, it's different because these police officers cannot have their peace disturbed. It's been already dictated that way in the court of law. So these guys can't typically just go out there and issue a ticket without somebody willing to sign the ticket on the citizen side for that. How is Nampa Paving going to enforce that, I guess? I understand you want safety, but this doesn't fall onto my staff to enforce it. It should fall on you guys to enforce it somehow.
I'm totally fine with signing the ticket for him.
If you're, I don't know, if you're not there, are you going to be there? Are you working all night?
Yeah, you gotta,
If not, my foreman on site will sign the ticket.
I understand what we're trying to do for safety, but simply just saying police can do this is not true. Right? I mean, there's a lot of issues that we have related to that.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
we've talked about safety. You brought it up several times. We're talking about safety, here in terms of backup alarms. I don't know that we've got the ability to, in our conditions of approval on this, to override an OSHA rule. Right? I'm pretty sure OSHA's not going to be happy with you muffling backup alarms. Now, you could go a risk and do that on your own, but I don't think the city can do that because that creates an unsafe scenario according to OSHA, right? I mean, people are hauling trucks in all day long and they're doing it safely. So I'm not sure that this really is about safety. I see that there is a safety element. You can bring more trucks in a shorter period of time in a safer way, but you could also operate safely during the day, just bringing in fewer trucks. So I want to just be clear that I don't think that we're talking about safety here.
Well, this is
We're
right.
talking about an exception.
This is where I completely disagree with that statement because when you're bringing in 100 trucks or 80 trucks, whatever it is, down Highway 44 during the day when the traffic's the highest in volume is when you're going to have the accidents and you're trying to prevent that from happening, right? That's all 100% safety, in my opinion.
Well, we
I'm
can
gonna
agree to
I'm
disagree.
going to agree with both of you. You both got valid points to all of that. That's why it's a hard decision. That's why we're here.
Can I just add?
Yep.
We do have a business. We do need to make money. Nampa Paving's been here since 1984, which is probably as long as, well, a lot longer than a lot of people have been here, right?
Not
Nampa
me.
Paving's reputable. The owner lives in Middleton. You don't have to call Sunrock. You don't have to call Knife River. You don't have to call Idle Materials in Ireland to complain about it. We're in this community. Okay, so yes, it is about making money. At the same time, when my daughter's going to school, it's about safety. So I didn't appreciate that comment very much.
Well, my daughter travels that road going to school too. So
Well, I hope you understand it. It is 100% about safety.
no, it isn't.
Okay.
This is about,
We'll agree to disagree.
yeah, that's fine. Look, I recognize that if you take some traffic off the road and you're just operating those trucks with nobody else around, I recognize that is a safer environment. But we're not here considering this because of safety. That may play into it for some people in the way they want to vote. But this is a noise ordinance, request for a waiver on a noise ordinance.
Yep.
So that's what we're here to determine.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean I don't care about safety because me and my family drive those roads too. So, well, I'll yield back.
Okay, any further questions of Tyson? If not, forever hold your peace.
Well, you said you were going to let the other folks talk.
I'm talking about Tyson.
Okay.
You got any more questions for Tyson? He's not going to be able to come back up here. Okay, hearing none, thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
guys.
have the citizens, who wants to speak? Do both of you want to speak? Or just one? We'll see what he says first. She's going to judge you. So state your name and address, please, sir, for the record.
Craig Shoemaker, 8582 Happy Day Drive in Star Point.
8582 Happy Day Drive.
Yep.
And
there.
Craig Shoemaker, you said?
Yep. Craig Shoemaker,
Okay.
born and raised in Boise, Idaho, Meridian.
Did you go to Meridian High?
I did.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I went to Boise. I went to Boise High.
I went to actually Jackson, then West Junior High, then
Oh,
transferred
there you go.
and married my high school sweetheart.
That's awesome.
Meridian, where we met in youth group. So anyway, I really feel for, I grew up in the trucking business, the whole 9 yards. I have a few major concerns. Some of my neighbors do too, is that the 4, 5, 6 days that they worked out there and their service trucks came out and worked at night and had their beacons going and their bright lights shining on to do the work. It's just like, all of a sudden we're like awake. And we have our curtains shut, but they're not blackout curtains. So, it's like, wow, that's intense. But then after 45 minutes to an hour, they leave and you sleep the night away, And so I do have a concern that there's going to be a lot of lights because they have to see what they're doing. And they're coming and going all the time. The backup lights are the beepers, they penetrate. And I talked to a few neighbors and go, we sleep with our windows open this time of year. And I'm going, well, that's not going to be good because you're going to hear everything. And then, of course, the Jake brakes, engine brakes. I've heard some of them come down. They sound like they were Max or something because they had exhaust brakes versus Jake's. And so they're not near as bad. But so those three things really are going to be crazy noisy. I believe it's so much safer to run at night. I've been here my whole life. I travel all over. Now that I live over here, I go, it is crazy. I try not to do stuff. I tried to do it before 6 in the morning. Like this morning, I left at 5:15 to go to Caldwell because it was easy. And then I came back. I used the back roads at 7:30 because it's nuts. I've been here my whole life, so I'm not crazy about it. But it's everywhere. And, obviously things are changing a lot. Safety, I think, is important to get it done quick. I just don't know what happens if we're a week into this and everybody's really, really fired up because no one can sleep. And it's just, and I agree, it's 1 month of misery versus 2.5 months or whatever. I understand it is money, it's business too. I get all that stuff. I'm a businessman, have been my whole life. So I just think if we can, and I believe that Nampa Paving can put in their own police cop that should just sit there at the hill in a golf cart or whatever with a sign. There's a little glowing deal and they just know I'm here to take pictures of you if you touch that engine brake. I drove truck. I love engine brakes when you're going down a hill, but you just, you got to slow down a little bit sooner and do your thing and adjust your brakes a little more often. That's, they were running them like crazy during the day. And I'm sure a bunch of them weren't, but a bunch of them were because we can hear them. And it's like, I get it. That's the way life is. I think they're out in the country, but there's lots of homes around too. So I've seen them do it right in downtown once in a while. Oops, but they do it. So really, I just feel like the backup beepers, and I didn't know if I know you come in and all the dozers are running this way. I don't know if there's any way to turn them the other way. Bring the trucks in and dump. Get creative so that the beepers are going to that way instead of right up to the neighborhood. That would help a little bit, I would think, with the beepers. Yeah, if you could do that, maybe that could help. So I hate to kill business. I'm pro-business. I'm pro-profit. I'm pro-neighborhood. And this is just a tough deal for you guys. And I'm sorry you're not feeling good.
Oh,
My wife's a healing
been
minister. She might pray for you tonight when you're done. She's seen a lot of healings, a lot of good
there's a
things
lot of
happen.
healing, I'm going to tell you.
Yep. So, but anyway, so I guess I'm just saying it's, as long as this isn't forever, because if after 5, 6, 7, or 8 days, the whole neighborhood's not sleeping and we're not getting used to it. I know you get used to sleeping next to the railroad tracks, I hear.
That's a different safety problem.
Yeah. So, just the railroad cars going by and the noise and you don't hear them after a while. So, or sleep next to the airport or whatever. I just want to be good, but I think it's important that they do their best. I talked to him for a little bit. I believe they're going to try. He shut it down. I do agree with him that it's much safer if you don't have as many big trucks on the road. I've been out there driving them myself for or been around them. And a lot of people don't realize that when you just cut in front of me, I can't stop as quick. When you're trying to get in there in front of the deal, they just don't get it. And so if you run at night, just like this morning, I left early for different things, and it's just, I enjoy it because it's more peaceful, and this town's got so crazy that it's different. You guys know that. So, but really that's all I have to say is if we could really do a good job on the backups and maybe turn them the other way, but if they could muffle them some, I know there's a lot of stuff like that gets muffled. I've been around a long time, and sometimes you just be safe and don't do it. But there's really, I believe, as far as safety goes, again, there's safety, and then there's this, well, it's a rule. As far as safety, those guys are out there doing their thing. The trucks are dumping, and they're just dozing. There's not people walking around them, and no one is out there walking around those dozers. The several days I watched because I'm right up above looking down, and it was kind of a party. And my wife was crying, and I was kind of, wow, this is interesting. I've never seen so many trucks all at once. So it was pretty crazy to watch. So anyway, I think if they could, those jakes and the lights, that's going to be tough. But if we could get rid of some of the flashing lights, those are what's really let you know there versus some of the other stuff. And if they could run the equipment maybe the other way, that would help with sending the beep into the river. Probably people on the other side will complain now. So I don't, God bless us all. So called growth. And so, like I tell my wife, time to move again. So we just keep going. All right.
Hey, real quick, any questions for Mr. Shoemaker?
Yeah.
Councilman Day?
I'm glad that you come up here with a solution to what you see could be a conundrum, right? Not very many people do that. Everybody wants to complain, but don't bring a solution. So I appreciate that a lot. The yellow lights on top of those trucks that are flashing, I mean, that might be an OSHA thing too. I don't know.
For service guys, and they should not be
Okay. You hear that, Sean? Okay.
Yeah, so I would say that you're probably bound by OSHA from A to Z. My brother drives for a trucking company, and he has to deal with all that, and he much prefer. So I think right now he's in Kentucky.
That fixes that. So if that was just a service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I know I've rented some big equipment before, and they got all sorts of stuff
Yeah,
that
so
you
you
don't
understand.
have to turn them on.
yeah, so I appreciate you coming up here with a solution, and so thank you.
Okay. Any further questions for Mr. Shoemaker? Councilman Nielsen?
No, sir.
Nope. Councilman Wheelock? All right. Ms. Jennifer? No? All right. Did you want to speak, ma'am? Yep. Okay. Same rule, state your name and address, please, for the record.
Yeah, my name is Dina Shoemaker.
What is your first name?
Dina, Deena.
Okay.
And my address is 8582 West Happy Day Drive, Meridian.
He still doesn't have it right, right?
I mostly just have a couple of thoughts, a couple of questions that maybe you could ponder and maybe get the information from him, because I haven't had enough time to get the info from him. But one of the things that I wondered is, like, if we're looking at 185 trucks every night, we don't really know what that's going to look and feel like. We don't have any idea whether or not we're going to be able to sleep at all, or whether we need to move
That's
to our
16,
cabin.
16 trucks per hour for 12 hours.
Okay. So that's a good point. It's per hour. So my question is like, what if we do, is it a possibility of trying this for a week and seeing what it's like, and having you guys reassess it if it's just out of control and it's not possible to live there anymore? I don't know. Personally, I can't even imagine the struggle that you have to try to make a decision over this, because both are bad options. And 30 days to me almost sounds like it'd be nice to just get it over with. I do worry about the horse property and his business down below, but I don't think that there's anything you can do about it. Either way, I worry about the horses. I worry about the little children that are having horseback lessons when all this equipment's running across the street. and the little old ladies that are trying to learn how to ride and that it's, but we got progress in front of us. So there's that. So, yeah, so that's a question that I would like to know is is it possible to have a trial run and to see what it's like and shift and make a different decision if it's completely impossible to live there? And then I personally travel down Canada Road a lot. I'm at Canada Road and Chinden a lot. And it's absolutely impossible the way it is right now to get out of there. So I'm redirecting and trying to go the other direction now because I work in Caldwell, which is why we moved to Star. And so it's a real challenge at that intersection. I'm very afraid that we're going to end up with a lot of accidents there. So I just wanted to throw that out for you guys to think about. Yeah. Thank you.
Hang on.
Chadwick.
Any questions, Ms. Shoemaker?
Mayor Chadwick.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. So in our condition of approval, if we do approve it, there is a, one of the conditions, just so you're aware, it was mentioned, but just to reinforce it, that council reserves the right to review, modify, or withdraw
Yay.
this temporary use permit noise waiver at any time should the applicant fail to comply with these conditions of approval, or if the operation proves to create an unreasonable nuisance to the public, okay, as determined by council. So if this is really affecting you, email, call the city, right?
Okay.
And we can,
They need to go to Sean, I think,
Yeah.
on that, in that case.
The question I have with that
yeah,
is, do we have to come here to do that? Because that's 2 weeks.
We
Half-
could authorize the mayor
as
to
well
make that
finish.
decision tonight.
Mm,
You
you're
can
halfway
authorize the staff to make that decision.
That's what I would want to make sure was
Yeah.
available, because it doesn't make any sense to have us, oh yeah, we heard about it in a week. And in 2 weeks, we come back. So in
Right.
3 weeks, we'll have a decision for you and they
Good
can
point.
finish the last week.
mhm.
yeah. So does that make you feel, give you a little bit of,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for Ms. Shoemaker? Thank you. All right, any questions of Sean? Okay, hearing none.
I guess Mayor Chadwick, before we go into deliberation, or no, I mean, are we deliberating?
Yeah.
It's kind of a different,
It's different. You're
can
gonna
we,
deliberate, yeah.
can we hear from the police? Do we want to hear from the police about?
Well, we can
Jake?
hear from Chief Haynes, yeah. Dale conveniently walked out, but
About the brakes, maybe? I mean, what kind of enforcement? Like if you get a call from someone, like what is that process? So if you get a complaint that Jake brakes are being used, you go out to the site, try to, I mean, by that point, the truck is probably gone. So I don't know. I mean, maybe, is there any enforcement that you can do? Or is it really up to Napa Paving?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Solomon, I think generally when we're dealing with something like this, we have to either observe the violation or have a witness who sees the violation and can identify the person doing it. In the outside case that we can't identify the person, for instance, we're having this issue right now at Beacon Light and 16. What we've been doing is if the community provides photos of the truck, then we can identify the company. And if there's a trunk number, we can identify the driver that way. And what we'll generally do is reach out to the company itself and address it through the company that owns the truck. I think we would do the same thing in this circumstance. The problem is catching somebody as they're doing it because it's transitory. It comes and goes quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So if the neighbors are hearing them, they could like call the non-emergency line and maybe just, is that how, like,
I think in order for it to be reported correctly, it would have to go to the non-emergency line.
Well, they could call either one, emergency or non-emergency, and dispatch will decide how to route it. But we would certainly address any complaints that we are receiving.
Okay, I guess that's the key, like you're addressing it.
We're not going to ignore it.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Okay. Any further questions of?
no, I don't think so. Thank you. Sweet.
Right alongs at night?
Oh,
Okay.
sign me up.
All right. If there's not any further questions of chief or staff, any questions of Sean? Evan, Mr. Steve?
You know what? I have one question. There's a caveat in there, Sean, about there could be for some reason a 15-day added on to the time frame.
Yeah, it's telling you up not to exceed 45 days. That's what you're saying.
No, there's a, I don't know, where's it at in there? You
I
probably,
think it was part of their,
it's in there somewhere.
might actually be in their letter, in Tyson's letter.
Okay.
You need to come up here to the microphone. So basically, just real quick, the letter says 30 days with a possible 15 additional. Sean put in the condition no more than 45 days, not to exceed 45 days to cover that. That includes the 15, yeah. All right, any further questions of Sean? Here now, we're going to close this at 8:45 and we're going to move on to council deliberation.
Speak at once. This is tough. I mean, nobody wants 185 trucks driving in daily in the middle of the night during the day. Right? Nobody wants that. That's a lot. But, so I think like it is a hard decision. Both of them are hard, yes or no. But I think I'm comfortable approving it, especially with that condition that it can, it can be taken away. So,
If you do approve it in that situation, you need to reserve the staff the right to cancel the permit. Because otherwise, it does no good
take a
to bring
while.
back to the council because the council, our next council meeting is canceled
2
because of
weeks.
election day. It's on election day. Right? So the next meeting wouldn't be until June. And so you need to set it in there that staff can cancel that with review with me, I guess. I mean, if you want that done, whatever. Right?
Yeah, and if we hear that, like it's not, I don't know, like just one complaint or I don't know. But I hope that, I'll just, never mind. Be quiet. I'm done.
Right.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
I agree this is a difficult decision and probably a new one too. I mean, I've been doing this a long time and nobody's asked this kind of thing before. A couple things that really show up for me. People have their right to privacy. People have a right to enjoy their property. One of the things that we consider all the time whenever an application comes to us is whether or not that application negatively affects somebody else's property. And that phrase negatively affects is a legal term. And it generally means that the negative effect is that that person can no longer use their property for the way that it was intended. So if I'm unable to sleep in my home, then that the use of my property for which it's zoned, which is single family residential, means I can't use my home for single family residential uses, which includes sleeping. So first and foremost, that's really what shows up for me is what are we doing here if we approve this to affect the use of adjacent properties based off of the use of this property. There's potential there for us to approve a violation of something that is the core tenet that we're supposed to protect. Second thing that shows up is, my property backs up to Floating Feather, and there's been a lot of construction on Floating Feather, even currently. I get Jake breaks that come down there. Kevin Wheelock hears them. Steve Day hears them. We're all kind of right there in that spot. And we get Jake breaks all day long. I work from home, and sometimes between that and the motorcycles and the sports car racers that pull out of the subdivision, I can't even hear. So I understand that those kind of things just happen. Not everybody respects it. But there has been construction on Floating Feather, specifically when they put in the bridges. Ada County ran road construction 24/7 for a few weeks. Pretty lightweight. And, we got through it. So on the one hand, I can see that there's things that you can deal with. And then there's, things that you can't deal with, and what are we going to allow as a city? So I'm just sharing that's my mindset, my frame of mind as I try to decide this. And, backup alarms, there's things I'm sure you can do to redirect the sound, probably shaped devices that don't cover it, but redirect the sound downward. They may or may not include insulation. I don't know. Facing the other way, dimming lights, things like that. Maybe there's enough mitigation. I just don't know. None of us are experts here. Kevin, you're probably the closest, right? And in spite of what I said before, I do recognize there's a safety factor. I just don't think that's the primary reasoning that I'm approaching it with here tonight. So having shared those things, I really love to hear what you guys are thinking down there. I don't know yet whether I'm supportive of this.
Okay. Councilman Wheelock?
I have both sides of this coin. It's safer to run at night because of less traffic. The people that you're worried about being in the safety end of youth on the road or whatever, they're not on the road at night. At the times we're talking, generally, except in the summer, but they're much less likely to be in this particular scene, in my opinion. The Jake breaks and stuff like that, the seriousness of where I think we hold the standard, Napa Paving is hearing loud and clear, and we'll address that. And I think if we can instruct staff to shut it down if it's a problem, the reality is I use my Jake brake continually because it's that much more effective of saving my brakes for when I need them. And that's the reality of it. It's a financial decision. I run during the day, so nobody cares. I don't have a truck with no mufflers. The modern trucks are more quiet because of that. You get once in a while the older rigs that have straight pipes, and whoever's driving those are generally 21 anyway still. That's just the truth. Or still want to be that old, whichever you want to look at it. I think we can set a standard that we can look at it in a reasonable amount of time. If it's working, great, keep going. If they turn their rigs around and use the backup beepers towards the river, that would be not only kind but wise on their part, because it would lessen the impact that they're going to have complaints at the city, which is the possibility of shutting it down. It's a financial motivation. It's a safety motivation. All of those are good stacking help. It's going to come down to effective management on their side of the coin and willingness to recognize it's temporary on the residents' side of the coin. We're all in this together. It's going to either happen. I leave town at 5 a.m. in the morning most mornings because guess what? I do like less traffic. Feels great. And come in every side road I can and not have to deal with it. So there's some benefits. I'm probably leaning to approve it and let staff shut it down if it's a huge problem. And whatever that is, the staff at the city can figure out. I don't want to set a parameter on that. 4 calls, 3 calls, 11 calls. That's somebody else's decision.
Councilman Day?
Yeah, this is a tough one. So I'm kind of looking at, like, to address what Councilman Nielsen said. There were years, like my brother's back there, I worked 1800 to 0600. That's 6 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I slept through the day. So I don't think we can judge on who we're going to keep awake at night, because there are people that work nights who are going to be kept awake during the day. So I think that's kind of, I don't think we can win in that situation, right? Whether you're working at the grocery store, Albertsons, those people work all night, sleep in the daytime. If you're low on the totem pole, that's where you're at. I'm kind of looking at it from a perspective of the greater good for the city. There's people going to school in the morning. There's people going to work in the morning. One accident in the morning can make you an hour late for work, hour late for school. You leave for school. You know, my neighbor leaves for school every morning at 7 o'clock. He goes to Hawaii High School. If he leaves at 7:05, he's late. So I think it's just, and I understand, like you folks that live there too. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, I think more people in the town of Star. There's more people that live in the town of Star than that live on Joplin, in that area right there. So I think doing it at night, getting it done in 30 days or, 45 days, whatever it is, getting it done 2 months faster than doing it in the daytime. And people already complain every single day about the traffic in Star, right? Back up. It's, you come home and in the evening time and traffic's backed up from Star Road past 2026 going south. It takes people forever. So I could just hear it already. Why do we have all these trucks in the middle of the daytime blocking? Why can't you guys ever do anything right? So I think I would, with all due respect to everybody that lives in Joplin, because I care about everybody in Star, but I think getting this job done at night is the greater good. And like you were speaking about accidents on Canada and Chinnen, I think that's what we're trying to avoid, right? Because there's just like Blessinger or Canada and 44, right? You hear people complaining about it all the time. Well, there's not a lot of traffic on the road at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So it's safer, traffic wise. Yeah, there's going to be incidents where you have an accident at 2 in the morning. These guys deal with it all the time, but it's usually somebody just being stupid, right? Or being intoxicated, whatever it is, right? I think Nampa Paving has made it clear that he's going to put the hammer down as far as Drake brakes and do what he can for the backup ring or, the bell, when they're backing up. But it sounds like he's going to do everything he can. I saw him shaking his head up and down when you mentioned the golf cart sitting up on top of the hill, with somebody, hey. So I think he's in full agreement because, he's from here and I think he respects everybody here. And I know if he was living over there, he would expect the same courtesy from that company, even if he didn't work for that company. Because he'd be up here talking about it. Hey, I want to make sure there's, no Jake breaks, no this, no that, no this, no that. So anybody that's impacted by this should be voicing their opinion, right? But I think for the greater good of Star, there's more people that will benefit from it being done at night than during the daytime. It's not, being done at night isn't going to make people late for work, late for school. So I lean towards doing it at night, and no pain, no gain, right? It's just, it is what it is. I mean, that's just where we're at. So I like it when somebody like you, again, Napa Paving comes with a solution and says, I think it'll be better if we do it this way. It'd be better for your citizens. He feels it'd be safer for the citizens, get it done faster. That's awesome. Because a lot of companies would say, would just keep it as it is. And the longer it goes, the more money you make, right? So you're trying to be expedient, get it done in a timely manner, in a safe manner. Yeah, some people are going to get woken up at night. Some people are going to get woken up in the daytime. That's a no-win situation. So anyway, that's all I have on that.
Okay, I'm just going to make a couple comments on this as well. I just want to go to our code of 324, specific noises enumerated. Talking about noisy equipment, and it reads the operation other than between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 o'clock p.m. daily, except in the case of urgent necessity in the interest of public health or safety of any pile driver, pneumatic hammer, derrick, pneumatic or electric hoist, or other appliance or truck, loader, excavator, or similar construction equipment, the use which is attended by loud or unusual continuous noise. Operation shall include the initial startup of any engine of any such equipment. So if you read that, it's telling you that you can make exceptions in the necessity of interest or public safety, or in the interest of public health or safety. And I know we have some disagreements on the safety aspect, but I do hear constantly from folks about the number of trucks that are on the road during the day and the issues that it creates out here on Highway 44 with people getting to and from locations. I do understand the nighttime challenges with people, unrest and whatnot. So I think if you do choose to approve this, that you put some conditions in there that allows for staff with myself and Chris Jorgensen, our attorney, to review it, to cancel that temporary use permit at such time if it's a problem on there. I do also think when you're talking about him shaking his head, when you talk about sitting somebody up there, you put that specific condition in there that they have a monitor for that up there. If he's willing to sign the tickets, great, sign the tickets, or the monitor has the authorization to sign the tickets on that. So that way, you know exactly who it is right then and there at that time, instead of a resident having to try to figure out what truck actually ran in there when you have, what'd you say? How many truckloads an hour? 16 an hour. That's a lot.
That's a lot of trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Every 3 minutes, right? There's a truck coming in and out of that place. So I think it's just important that we put all those sidebars on that. But understand, like you said, Councilman Day, that, 30 days of getting this done with 6,000 truckloads coming from the opposite direction of Star. None of this will come through the middle of town because it's all coming out of Notice's pit to come down 2026, turn on Kenyatta Road and drop down, alleviates a lot of the traffic of truck noise for about 90% of the city, right? It's limited to that location on there, and the quicker you can get it done, the better. And the safer you can get it done, the better. So that's just where I stand. You guys make the decision. But I do think that you need to put in some specific conditions on that to allow us to review it as the staff level to cancel that permit. And to put some monitor stuff up there as well at a minimum.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen.
So I appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts and your positions on that. It's helped helped me to also feel supportive of this to move forward with. I do want to say, Mr. Mayor, I'm not disagreeing with your interpretation of the code there. I do think if we start looking at emergency situations and the equipment, my interpretation of that is for true emergency situations, like we got a canal breached or something like that that requires heavy equipment. I would not want to openly invite all construction activities of this nature to suddenly start happening at night under the guise of this is a safety situation. We have trucks and construction activity that happens all day long safely. And so I just want to draw that distinction. And I'm not disagreeing with you on the safety of this. Just enough said on that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve this temporary use permit with the added stipulation that we're authorizing the city staff in conjunction with the mayor and at his discretion in consultation with legal counsel to choose to end this temporary use permit if they deem it necessary without having to come back in a formal council meeting. So that authorization, that authority is there. Also, the applicant does post somebody who takes record and note of positive identification of every truck that comes in to ensure compliance with the other provisions of the temporary use permit. I think those are the conditions that we discussed, right? That's my motion.
Second.
You seconded that? Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Nielsen and a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Day,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Awesome, that motion carries. Thank you. And we will, we'll put something together on all that and meet with them too to get that going. And I would encourage us to be in communication with the shoemakers on this the whole time on there. So if you can, the shoemakers, give Sean your contact information. I mean, they're the ones willing to come to this tonight, so make sure that they help us out with that, so.
Maybe Mr. Shoemaker wants to drive.
Do you want to take a truck? I mean, he might have an extra one.
Sounds like he's going to be awake anyway.
If you do,
Or go on a nighttime ride
if you
along.
do Jake braking, we're going to be lashings. Right. Oh, there you go. Love it. Okay, we're at the end of our city council meeting. It is 9:07 p.m. and we are adjourned.